benefit, sir, I'm concluding, sir. Benefit should get to the people. My concern is that all these points should be considered, sir. Thank you so much.
For allowing me to speak on the demand for excess grants for 2019-20 and supplementary demand for grants 22-23, sir. I thank Honorable Prime Minister and my party for giving this opportunity and to support the supplementary demand for grants and the demands for excess grants for expenditure of the central government, sir. Sir, demand for excess grants for 2019 and 20, sir. The excess expenditure during 1920 occurred in 2 grants and 1 appropriation, sir, amounting to the total of 32,637 crores, sir. Out of which, sir, 701 crores has been a capital outlay on defense services under the Ministry of Defense, sir. And it has been excess expenditure हुआ है, sir. इसी के लिए हम आज उसको सपोर्ट करके पास कर रहे हैं, सर. और दूसरा 31,934,000 crores has been given to, sir. The excess was incurred due to transfer of more funds to GST compensation funds in order to apportion the balance IGST pertaining to the financial year 2018, sir. And in the present supplementary demand for grants, sir, the first batch of supplementary demand for grants for 22-23, it includes 75 grants and 6 appropriations, sir. Approval of the Parliament is sought to authorize gross additional expenditure of 4,35,938 crores. Out of this proposal, involving net cash outgo of aggregated to 3,25,000 crores and gross additional expenditure matched by the savings of the ministries and departments and enhanced receipts and recoveries aggregate to 1,10,180 crores. Besides, a token of provision of 159 lakhs is being sought, 1 lakh for each item of the expenditure for enabling reappropriation of savings in cases involving new services or the new instrument services, sir. Sir, out of this 75 grants and 6 appropriations, sir, gross appropriation is 4,36,000 crores, sir, out of which cash supplementary is 3,26,000 crores, out of 3,26,000 crores, revenue account is 2,95,000 lakh crores, sir, 2.95 lakh crores, sir, and capital account is 31,053 crores, sir. Sir, major items out of this are the sir, major
वो चिंतन कर रहे हैं
major
कहा चिंतन कर रहे हैं
sir, major items in this are, sir, fertilizer subsidies of the tune of 1,09,000 lakh crores, sir, and food subsidies of the tune of 80,348 crores, sir, and rural development 45,178 crores, out of which Manrega itself is around 16,400 crores, and Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana rural is of the tune of 28,422 crores, sir. And to support to the oil marketing company, sir, the government has given rupees 22,000 crores plus 7,200 crores for Ujjwala Yojana, out of which already 9 crore people have got the gas connection in this country, sir. Ministry of Road Transport is getting around 20,000, that is 19,198 crores, sir. And Ministry of Railways is getting around 12,000 crores. And BSNL is telecommunication is getting around 13,000 crores. And out of the 6 appropriations, sir, which is a mandatory and it will happen recurring expenses, which is not shown in this, it is going to CVC, the Supreme Court, President of India, UPSC, and interest payments, sir, and debt repayments, sir. So last time our budget was around to the tune of 39,45,000 crores, sir, budget estimate. Abhi after this demand for supplementary grants, it will rise to 43,81,000 crores, sir. Sir, now I'll come to the, a lot of people have spoke about the economy in this country today, sir. Most of the opposition have also talked about what is the economic scenario of this country, sir. Sir, releasing the estimate of gross domestic product for the second quarter, Q2 in 22-23. The National Statistical Office NSO declared that real GDP or GDP at constant 2011-12 price is estimated at 38.17 lakh crore rupees as against the 35.89 lakh crore rupees in Q2 of financial year 22-23, showing a growth of 6.3% as compared to the 8.4% in the Q2 of the financial year 21-22, sir. According to RBI, sir, taking into account the baseline assumption, survey indicators and the model forecasts, real GDP growth is expected at 7% in 22-23, sir. 6.3% in Q2, 4.6% each in Q3 and Q4, with risk broadly balanced around this baseline path for 23-24, assuming a normal monsoon, sir, and no major exogenous or policy shocks. The structural model estimates indicate real GDP growth at 6.5%, sir. Sir, according to a World Economic Outlook, October 22, sir, countering the cost of living crisis, global economy activities is experiencing a broad-based, sharper than expected slowdown, with inflation higher than seen in several decades. The cost of living crisis, tightening financial condition in most regions, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and lingering COVID-19 pandemic all weigh heavily on the outlook of Indian economy, sir. It also on the Indian economy as well, sir. Global growth is forecast to slow from 6% in 2021 to 3.2%, sir, in 22, and 2.7% in 23, sir. Global inflation forecast has to rise from 4.7% in 2021 to 8.8% in 2022, but to decline 6.5% in 23 and 4.1% by 24, sir. Amidst this crisis, India stand on better footing, sir. Promising growth, slowing inflation, rapid vaccination coverage, well-calibrated short-term policy measures have effectively navigated the economy through the turbulent times, paving the path towards the desired resilience and the growth, sir. The World Bank raises financial year 23 India's growth to forecast to 6.9%, sir. Further, the rating agency of Moody has cut the India's growth projection for the next calendar year to the higher inflation, higher interest rate, and slowing global growth that it believes will dampen the economic momentum more than it had expected. But Moody said, sir, now expects the India's GDP growth to 7% in 2020, sir. The point here would be, sir, across the globe, global economic scenario, all the countries are having a low growth, sir. India is one country which is having a very good rate of growth in the economy. That is because of the firm leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, who has taken this country to the next level. And today morning, one of my friends, Mr. Revant Reddy, was asking about the question. He has posed a question. 80 lakh rupees of loan has been taken by Narendra Modi's government in last 8 years, but whereas the other governments took over only towards 53 lakh crores. Sir, my point would be only simple, sir. If you are a layman in economics also, if you are having a projection of growth, you will be having more loans, sir. And to having a more loan, we are taking that money and putting the same money in the infrastructure growth, wherein and whereby the ecosystem in the country is where the lot of investment is going to happen, lot of spending is going to happen, and lot of growth is going to happen. And for that reason, if you are trying to aim at $5 trillion economy, you have to have a loan according to that result, sir. So my point would be, sir, the key highlights in the November 22, one of the reports says, sir, private consumption stood at 57.5 of the nominal GDP in financial year 21-22, indicating that it is becoming a macro growth driver, sir. Rice, wheat, gram, maize production is expected to be a record high, sir. According to data released by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, sir, the consumer price index-based retail inflation stood at 6.77% year-on-year on October 22, sir. And purchasing managers index, PMI services remained comfortably in the expansionary zone at 56.7%, sir. Fuel consumption has increased, sir. In September, the industrial production IIP stood at 133.5, sir. And in financial year 23, sir, until September 22. The combined index of 8 core industries stood at 142.8, driven by the production of coal, refinery products, fertilizers, steel, electricity, and cement industry, sir. Traffic handled at the major ports, sir, stood at 4,46,503,000 tons in April to October 22, sir. Railway freight traffic growth stood at 118.94 metric ton in October 22, sir. In March 22, freight movement increased 0.3 compared to the previous year, indicating the increase in the air freight and the traffic activity has been maintained, sir. 78.1 million e-way bills raised during the March 22, which is 13% higher compared to February 22, sir. In April 22, the government approved the participation of 61 companies in the PLI scheme for textiles with a proposed total investment of 19,000 crores and an expected turnover of 1,84,000 crore, leading to employment generation for about 2.8 lakh people, sir. In October 22, the gross GST revenue collection stood at 1,51,718 crores, sir. In June 22, Indian basket crude oil reached US dollar 116.6 compared to 109, sir. In October, UPI transactions were valued at 12.11 lakh crores and merchandise exports stood at $30 billion, sir. So, in all this, sir, even the bank credit stood at around $1.55 trillion as on September 23, 2022. Credit on non-food industry stood at $1.54 trillion, sir, in September 22-23, sir. So, the monthly account of Union Government of India up to the month September highlights the include that Government of India has received 12 lakh crores, 52.7% of the corresponding budget estimate of the total receipt up to September 22, comprising 10 lakh crores of tax revenue, 1,57,000 crore on non-tax revenue, 34,000 crores of non-debt capital receipts, and non-debt capital receipts consist of recovery of loans of 9,500 crores, miscellaneous of 24,590 crores, and 3,76,000 crore has been transferred to the state government, sir. A lot of opposition members were talking about the federal structure of this country. So the Union government has already transferred to the tune of 3,76,000 and demand for grants may be 10,000 crore rupees हम transfer कर रहे हैं, sir. Sir, India's overall export, I don't go into that, sir, but I can only say this, sir, the number showing the inflation rate has remained above RBI's tolerance, sir, band of 2 to 6% of the 10th consecutive month, but still India's retail inflation is sharply to 6.77% on an annual basis in the month of October from 7.41% in the September, and the supply chain disruption due to the ongoing geopolitical factors and hardening of commodity prices globally continue to thrust ahead the inflation pressure, sir. In spite of this, sir, the country is going at good speed, and for that Honorable Prime Minister is responsible, and I congratulate on behalf of this House and also myself, sir. Sir, one more thing, sir. A lot of discussion was today was happening regarding the dollar and the rupee price.
आपकी मोटी फाइल है, अभी आधा घंटा और बोलना चाहते हो कि टाइम बढ़ा दे आप?
सर, मैं अभी 10 मिनट बोलूंगा, सर.
नहीं, बढ़ाना हो तो बताओ आप.
नहीं सर. नहीं सर. I'll only take under 10 minutes, sir. Under 10 minutes. कागज है ना. सभा की कार्रवाई माननीय सदस्य के बोलने तक बढ़ाई जाती है. थैंक यू सर. थैंक यू सर. सर थैंक यू सर. सर, आज बहुत बहस हुआ, सर. डॉलर राइज अगेंस्ट द रूपी का बारे में बहुत चर्चा हुआ, सर. द कॉज ऑफ द ग्लोबल करेंसी क्राइसिस इज द राइजिंग US dollar, sir. The dollar index DXY, which measures the US dollar against an average of 6 other major currencies, has risen by 15% in 2022, sir, which is the highest increase in the last 20 years, sir. The British pound has fallen by 17.7%, sir. Turkish lira by whopping 39%, sir. And the euro by about 15%, sir. Australian dollar by 15%, sir. And Taiwanese currency by 16%, sir. Virtually all Asian currencies have been hit, sir. India only by 10.9%, sir. Sir, this is the direct result of the US central bank's aggressive efforts to contain their own domestic inflation, sir, which is at record high this year in the US by rising interest rate on government treasuries, sir. The series of rate increases by the Federal Reserve this year has resulted in record sales of US government bonds and a consequent sucking in the dollars from the world economy and world currency markets, sir. Because they are getting a lot of more interest there, the entire money is transferring back to the US, sir. The growing demand for dollars to buy these bonds has pushed up the dollar price, sir. And this policy aimed at easing domestic inflation in the US has wreaked the havoc across the world because the dollar is the world's reserve currency. Thus, the Federal Reserve has little or no concern how the rest of the world is affected by the actions and has signaled that it will continue to raise rates till the US inflation is contained, sir. In October 2, it raised the interest rates by 3/4 of a percentage point, taking the rate to its highest point since the financial crisis in 2008, sir. The US dollar strengthening is a disaster for the world economy. In order to protect their currencies, nations must not only deplete their foreign exchange reserves, but in many cases also raise interest rates to stem out the outflow, sir. This results in the higher domestic borrowing costs, which coupled with the rising import and the debt servicing costs are combination designed to wreck the economies or push them into recession. And all this for no fault of our own, sir. But our Honorable Prime Minister, when the Ukraine-Russia war took place, sir, he was under and our country was under a lot of pressure not to buy the crude from the Russia, sir. But in spite of that, we went ahead. We cared to nobody, sir. Even the US or the US hegemony was not tolerated, and even the EU, what it compliant us to not to purchase the crude from the Russia. We bought crude, and I have an estimation to the tune of 30,000 crores has been saved to this country under the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, sir. And I ask the honorable members of the opposition, at least at this stage, they have to be a part of the country and they have to support Honorable Prime Minister when he is saving a lot of money and also putting the same money into the action and with no corruption, zero tolerance to the corruption, the building of the nation. I'd like the honorable members from the opposition to support this, sir. The price rise in the petrol was also mentioned today in the debate, sir. The government on its part made two significant cuts in excise duties on petrol and diesel on November 21 and May 22. The combination of steps, including diversification of crude sourcing, as I said earlier, reduction of central levies on retail prices, sir, and additional taxes on exports have ensured stable, affordable, and secure fuel supplies in the country, sir. While the world saw a huge rise in the petrol and diesel prices, Indian consumers were completely isolated from its OMCs, as they did not pass on the hike in retail prices and took the hit on them instead and started having huge under-recoveries and cash losses, sir. These losses became rupees 638 minus, sir, crores per day in 2022 compared to 222 minus 222 crore per day in February 2022, sir. Meanwhile, on 21st May 2022, to ensure that the prices of essential items are kept under control, government reduced the central excise on petrol by 8 rupees per litre, diesel by 6 rupees per litre. The reduction was fully passed on to the consumers, while under recoveries in petrol and diesel amounted to 1,111 minus crore per day during May 2022, sir. India has been shining example of economic resilience and stability in the world, sir. Efforts to confuse the understanding around the well-intentioned and the successful energy strategy of the governments are being best ignored. So, before I conclude my speech, sir, Nishikant Dubey was speaking on the cryptocurrency, which I was part of the finance committee from 2009 to 2019, sir, where we aggressively fought against. We raised the issue against, and Saugata Da was there, sir. Baituri Mehtab was there, sir. We all opposed it, sir, but unfortunately, even I was trolled by the social media saying that I am against the innovations. I am not against the innovation, but the same has been used for the it was not used for the purpose for which it has to be used. But I am hopeful, sir, the blockchain, the digital ledger, what we call, which will be used for the undermining or undercutting the duplicity in the country. For example, it can be used for the land records. The blockchain technology would be used for the same thing, which will be ensuring the growth of this country, whereas the cryptocurrency was not for it. So I hope in the future, the cryptocurrency will be banned in this country, which has already bogged down. A lot of people have made loss of money in this, sir. Usually the most of them were the youngsters, the age below 35 years. They have lost a lot of money, and I appreciate the government to take to the next level. As it is, the RBI is giving the e-rupee has been already launched. I hope the blockchain technology will be used for the future development of this country, sir. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity to speak on this subject. Thank you, sir.
सभा की कार्रवाई कल मंगलवार दिनांक 13 दिसंबर 2022 को प्राप्त 11 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है।